Hello darlings, welcome back. Today we are talking about the artist's date and you're gonna go on a little trip with me. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, the artist's date is a concept from this book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And this book is all about finding your creativity, growing your creativity, considering creativity as sort of a spiritual practice. And so it takes you through all of these exercises and questions. And it can be really, really useful if you need some guidance in that way. It's an interesting tool. For those of you who know who Dochi is, you know, this is sort of what she credits with getting her to where she is. There's a lot of kind of famous people that you know in the creative space that have relied on this as a tool. I do enjoy a lot of it. There is, however, a lot of very 80s diet culture things that I don't understand how that has to do with creativity at all, but there is strangely a lot of fat shaming in this book. So there are some issues with it for me, but it can be used as a tool if you sort of take from it what you need and want. So Cameron really does believe that creativity is a inherent part of human nature, but that it is sort of trained out of us by, you know, self-doubt, societal pressures, all of those things. And so this is a way, you know, if you follow through the exercises to reconnect with that. There's kind of two main exercises. One is something called morning pages, where you start every day with writing 3 pages of just sort of a stream of consciousness, get it all out of your brain. It is actually a really great way to kind of clear some of the noise up there and get started. A second thing is called the artist date. And this is where you take your creative self out and pamper it. You take it out and you engage in creativity out in the world, for the most part. Now, several years ago, I actually joined sort of an online networking group when none of us could leave the house, and a sort of little subset group of us did this together. The women in that group have become some very close friends, but like sort of any book club, it became much more about chatting with each other and less about the book. And so I actually haven't done morning pages in a long time. I haven't been taking myself out on creative dates. I've sort of let this tool fall by the wayside until a couple of weeks ago. I was at Scrap, my favorite creative reuse store, and I found this. This is the companion book to The Artist's Way that came out many years later, but it's sort of a day-by-day creative date diary. So this reminded me that I actually really enjoyed the practice of going out in the world and engaging in creativity. And there are a few rules, like you have to do it by yourself. You have to go with limited expectations, that you really just spend about like 2 hours a week sort of nurturing your creative soul without any pressure to produce anything. The key is to engage in something that sparks curiosity, creative wonder for its own sake. So it means, you know, going to a museum, going for a nature walk, reading a book in a new cafe, or like I did today, going to a new neighborhood, again, one of my favorite activities, and exploring in terms of design, color, texture, sight, sounds, all of those things that are meant to, you know, refill your creative well. I have decided to reinstate my weekly artist's date. And this week, my artist's date took me to one of my absolute favorite neighborhoods in my city, Japantown. So yesterday, which was an absolutely stunning, beautiful day, perfect for this type of thing, I decided to take myself for this artist date and really just engage with it as it's meant to be engaged. I had no expectations of completing any specific tasks or running errands or getting anything done or doing any one thing in particular. I really just wanted to go and kind of look at the neighborhood with fresh eyes, and really just let myself explore and look at the design and just sort of, again, spend a couple of hours refilling that creative well in a space that wasn't my office or my house. So I do have a little bit of film from yesterday. I didn't take a ton because I did want to spend the bulk of the time in the moment, not necessarily, you know, making sure I'm making content. But I did get some really nice reflections on the day, and so I am glad that I recorded. I think for me that was part of it. So join me for my afternoon in Japantown, where there is no agenda, no shopping list, just curiosity and an afternoon to wander around. Japantown really was the perfect artist date. It wasn't about doing certain things or checking certain things off of a list. It was really about experiencing a place that I already love with sort of fresh eyes. It was about opening myself up to new ways of seeing something very familiar to me. It really was a great reminder of being intentional with creative practice, which again, that's what this entire year experiment is about, is me reconnecting with that creativity and being intentional with it. And so I am glad that I rediscovered the artist's way, and I am very glad that I decided to re-engage in it. So I do think I want to restart up with the morning pages soon, but the artist dates are on my calendar for the foreseeable future. I'm blocking off, 2 hours on a day when I can take, even just a long lunch, and making sure that I guard that time, because I do think it's that important. So I'd love to know if you've done the artist way, what you got out of it, if you've never heard about it and you're interested in it, why you're interested in it. Again, I'm really glad that I'm re-engaging in it, and I'm really looking forward to what I do next. So I'd love to hear some ideas from you. So until I see you next time, stay creative, stay curious, stay interested, and I'll see you then. Bye.